I totally hated Lazenby.
I fucking hated him.
I hated Lazenby.
I hated the shit out of him. George Lazenby's only film. George Lazenby has one woman, says I gotta marry you, and she gets roasted and he cries.
Exactly.
Come on, bro.
This is
The Connery Guy. We made it.
Yeah, we made it. We did it on Her Majesty's Secret Service. We have one Connery movie left after next week.
I'm a little sad about that, man.
Sad to see Connery go after next movie, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. Man.
Feel like you have like a relationship going with him.
I think that I'm just kind of used to him. At
Yeah.
this point. I didn't like the fuck is his name?
George Lazenby.
George. I wanted to say George Fleming. George Lazenby. Who the fuck is George Fleming?
Well, I think you combined Ian Fleming and George Lazenby.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, totally.
So George, yeah, totally. But yeah, dude, yeah, I'm gonna miss Sean Connery.
Yeah,
for sure. I'm gonna miss him.
Well, yeah, he's the original, and it's kind of. I didn't realize that I'd miss him until I watched this, and I totally hated Lazenby.
I fucking hated him.
I hated Lazenby.
I hated the shit out of him.
Yeah.
I really did not like George Lazenby.
My wife watched this movie with me the first time I watched it, and she was like, "You know what her comment was at the end of this? Well, that was actually really good." And I go, "What?" And she cried when the wife died. She was giving me one of these. She's like, "Oh my god, it's fucking sad." That's what she said. She's like, "That's actually really good." And I was like, they broke every Bond rule. They broke movie rules. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I was kind of... Overall, I was going into it... I had no previous knowledge of, like, a critical reception or anything like that.
Yeah.
I still don't have any idea of a critical reception.
Right.
Going into it, I thought that it was going to suck. Entirely over the fucking moon suck. Because I've watched the first fucking 4 or 5, however many we've watched.
Yeah.
I was thinking this one was going to be terrible. And it wasn't terrible.
And you were right.
No.
No, you liked it a little?
I don't want to say that. I mean, there was definitely scenes and bits where I was like...
What are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, okay, alright. There were scenes where I was like, what the fuck are we doing? But there were some scenes where I even said to you, I was like, that was good. That was good.
Yeah, they had some good stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, like, we'll get into it. We'll jump into it. We'll deep dive into the bullshit that is this George Lazenby fucking monstrosity.
Indeed.
So, I did read, though. This was a quick Google search.
Yeah.
This is George Lazenby's only film, probably because of George Lazenby. I want to look more into this. I want to know the full story, because I didn't really read on it. It was the fucking beginning of the Wikipedia article. It said, halfway through filming, George Lazenby said he would only play one, or only do one Bond movie. I find that really interesting, because you gotta imagine, he's a model, right? Because that's what he did. He's a model, no acting credits. And then they hire him to do Bond. Like I told you in the beginning. I'm like, Sean Connery was probably looking like shit. He's probably letting himself go. The James Bond curse hit him. The alcohol. The insatiable hunger. The cigarettes. I mean,
exactly.
This dude was an addict. He looked like shit.
Yeah.
So they're like, listen, man, we gotta, figure this out.
You're right.
So there's this guy named George. He's on the fucking newspaper. He's looking good. He's a model.
Well, that's okay. No, you go ahead. I like the hypotheticals. I'll tell you the real thing after you're done. Yeah.
Oh, is there a real thing? Okay. Well,
yeah.
Here's what really happened. So, George Lazenby, he's sitting there in bed one day. He's drinking himself a, let's say, a martini, shaken not stirred. He's not one for, the high life. But he gets a phone call. Bling, bling. Hello? George, it's me, Broccoli. Broccoli, what's up, man? It's nice to talk to you. I haven't talked to you in a while. George, I gotta talk to you, man. Connery's letting himself go. Sean looks like shit. He is insatiably hungry all the time. I'm pretty sure he's eating 5,000 calories a day. He's put on 30 pounds of fat easily in the past 2 months. We can't do it anymore. He's eating so much caviar, it's fucking disgusting. We need you to come in here. We need you to come in here, George. I need you to clean this shit up. And he says, Al, because they're cool like that. He says, Al, alright, I'll come out there. I'll come out there. So he gets on set, and he's like, man, this James Bond gig is pretty fucking sweet. And as he's getting on there and doing what he does, he's smoking cigarettes, drinking drinking alcohol and raping people. He's realizing how much of a detriment this has on his mental health. Sean Connery is a powerhouse.
He's built for it.
He is built.
He's built different, if you will.
Built different for this James Bond role. He's like, I drink a lot. I smoke a lot. I have sex with everything. I am built for the James Bond persona. 007, you mean 00 what? I'm here. As athletic as I know George Lazenby was, I know that he was a lazy piece of shit. He didn't have what it took.
Didn't have the work ethic.
He didn't have the work ethic. He did not have the work
to sit around and drink and fuck all the time.
To sit around and drink and fuck all the time.
Yeah, it's a big burden.
That's a huge commitment. You gotta imagine. It takes quite a bit to pour a drink, let alone drink a drink. And then you gotta live with the hangover. And the shame of...
Sean Connery doesn't even feel hangovers anymore.
He doesn't have any shame. He's a psychopath.
Yeah.
He was. I don't know if all right.
He's dead, yeah.
He's dead.
Yeah.
He was a psychopath. He could easily run through 20, 30, 40, 50 Japanese women one night. George Lazenby has one woman, says, I gotta marry you, and she gets roasted and he cries.
Exactly.
Come on, bro. Gotta be a little more stiff than that.
Exactly.
Anyway, so we're giving way too much away. I'm sorry. I got a little...
Yeah, you won't believe this, but you nailed it.
I nailed it. So, that's obviously not what really happened. It's a little more nuanced than that, I would think, huh?
Yeah, something here says that Bond wanted some big money to continue.
Bond, what do you mean? Like the IP or...
I'm sorry. Connery,
sorry.
Wanted some big money. That's my bad. They're one and the same, right? Anyway.
Exactly.
Connery wanted big money.
You
Allegedly,
Bond, right?
this person... I mean Bond, yeah. He wanted big money, allegedly, to continue, is what one thing says. Another... an interview I listened to of Connery's, he said he was worried about getting typecast, that he wouldn't be able to do other movies, that kind of thing.
Rational concern.
And so, yeah. And so that's why he had walked away. And then this blog post...
blog.
I was looking... You
were deep. I got you.
I was looking places.
Deep creeping.
And this kind of confirms some things I'd read elsewhere. You know, it may or might not be true. So, like, I'm just putting that out here. That's my disclaimer is this may not be true.
The reference is Quora. It's Quora.com.
Quora,
it's
yeah.
a quote it's a quote website.
So it says, after Lazenby quit the role of 007, Harry Saltzman and Broccoli had to start looking for a new actor to play the role. They already decided to film Diamonds Are Forever in the U.S., and they looked there. They found an actor called John Gavin, and were impressed with him, and they signed him to play 007. However, the bosses at United Artists were unsure, and wanted Saltzman and Broccoli to talk to Sean Connery about returning to the role of 007. After talking to Sean, they gave him the deal, which was $1.25 million, which Connery used to establish the Scottish International Education Trust. 2 films released by United Artists, which he could star in or direct. Only one film was ever made, called The Offense. $10,000 a week if the film went over the 18-week schedule, and thankfully it didn't. Diamonds Are Forever was the 3rd highest grossing film in 1971, making over $43 million in the U.S. Worldwide, the film made $116 million. As for Gavin, his contract was paid in full after Connery came back to play 007.
Okay.
Well, I know that's getting a little ahead because the Diamonds Are Forever, but essentially that's the Connery gist.
Why he's not here?
I figure we just cover the Connery gap.
Right.
Just because we're in it for this movie. This is the Connery. This is
the Connery gap.
Yeah. So,
how do I feel about the Connery gap? That's a good question, Tyler.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Connery gap, Tyler?
Yeah, do it up, man.
Oh, you want me to? I was asking you.
How do I feel?
How do you feel, Tyler? How do you feel about the Connery gap, Tyler?
I didn't like it.
Yep. I want to know. Like, I want to know it all, man. I want to know.
Here's my thing.
I want to get deep. to get deep inside that brain of yours right now. I want to see what's going on.
So Connery's the first Bond.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us are arguing that Sean Connery is a great actor. I think, I'm saying he's not. No one has. Let me say it this way.
Hold the fuck up.
No one has the argument that Sean Connery is a great actor.
There we go. Okay,
there it
I understand. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Yeah. That's my bad. Yeah, no one has that argument. At least no one in this room.
No one in this room has that argument, Tyler.
But I feel like they got to the point where Sean Connery is James Bond, right?
Yeah.
And then they just bring this guy in.
And his name is George Lazenby.
And, like, do you agree here that I just felt he was really trying to be Bond the whole time? You know, obviously he's an actor, and, like, why aren't you trying to be... You should try to be Bond in some respect, yes.
Right.
But, you know when someone's just trying really hard to do something.
Yeah.
And, like, you just, like... I don't know. I didn't like his little quips.
Let me add on to that a little bit.
Yeah.
That I think that it was George Lazenby. You know how when we were watching the Sean Connery films, it was a lot of Sean Connery shining through?
Yeah.
When, like, it was like, oh, that's fucking Sean Connery right there.
Yeah.
Right? With George Lazenby, it was like, oh, like, he shined through a lot, but that was the issue. Was that it was like, I don't want to fucking see George Lazenby as James Bond. Even if back then he was charming, even if back then he was attractive. I don't give a fuck. You gotta give me a James Bond. And George Lazenby doesn't fit that mold.
Yeah, I felt like it was irresponsible to make this movie. Because I just didn't think Lazenby did it. And as you said, okay, so the fourth, that's... Alright, let's discuss the first scene.
Well, okay, so...
Because that'll get us into us.
Let's jump in. Good segue.
I joked more water. Because I knew it's just...
It's a water
It was
thing.
water.
It's a water thing.
You looked at it, and I know you were like, your heart started racing. You're like, oh, no.
I knew there was a lot of ice going to come. I knew there was a lot of ice. I knew. I wasn't too worried about water.
This water will take a different form. Yeah, I'll be all right.
I knew the ice was going to be the... I'm telling you, I knew this. That's a good point. I knew the water would take a different form. I knew the temperature would lower. I'm not too worried about water in this movie.
Okay. So, this movie starts out, he's driving along in a cooler car than he's had in any of the movies, arguably, right? Pretty cool car.
It was a Mini?
I'm not sure what the fuck it was.
A Mini? I don't know. I don't know what kind of car it was, man. Maybe I'm mixing up a fucking a Mr. Bean scene. I'm not too sure. So we'll just... I really think I'm mixing up a Mr. Bean scene, honestly.
I was thinking it was either like just some kind of American muscle car, but they just put, obviously driver's side on the other side. Or that maybe it was some kind of special Aston
The car doesn't
Martin.
matter. It's a fucking cool car.
Car Bond drive. On Her Majesty.
This is the figuring out how to work Google podcast.
Okay, so it was a 69 Aston Martin DBS.
Oh, so it was Aston Martin.
It was an Aston Martin. So and he didn't drive anything Thunderball, right? Or no, I'm sorry. Thunderball, he had the one car in the beginning before all the water stuff happened. But then in You Only Live Twice, he's in a submarine and he's all over the place.
It's messy.
He's driven around. Yeah, we won't go back into You Only Live Twice.
I'm not going back there.
Point is, I don't think he had any Aston Martins. So, the Aston Martin took a break, before it became this iconic Bond car that it is today.
Right.
Right. Anyway. So, a girl runs out into the ocean. He's, like, spying on her. He's like, what's this girl doing? Random girl. He has no idea who she is.
Right.
She just drives past him on the road.
Pulls
and he
the scope out.
He goes, oh, what's going on with this lady? And then, dude, we're stuck on the Connery voice. And he doesn't have it. He
doesn't have it.
He's like, oh, my lady.
Yes.
Like, he's just got this more like, oh, I have a slight accent.
It's more refined. He's
very refined, whereas Sean Connery talks out of
the... with his voice.
He talks out of the back of his throat.
I want to insatiably have sex with you for the rest of the evening.
I hope we didn't wake the fish. Or startle the fish, or whatever the fuck, yeah. So, he's spying on her with
scoping her out.
And then she's walking into the water. And so he peels out down onto the beach. And he still stops like 50 yards away from the beach because he's got to get that run in.
For sure.
He's like, well, I'm gonna get my cardio in.
Baywatch aspect.
Yeah, but no slow mo. So like, what the fuck, right? They missed an opportunity there. He goes in the water. She's trying to drown herself. He pulls her out. She doesn't even get into the water. Like she's on her way out.
Yeah,
And he scoops her up, and then she goes, oh.
Well, I think that's.
And it acts like she's passed out.
I'm not gonna.
You think it was embarrassment?
I'm not gonna.
Because that's what my wife said. My wife said, "Well, yeah, she's embarrassed. She's acting like she passed out." I'm like, "Oh yeah, she fucking passed out from embarrassment."
Yeah.
Come on.
She probably did pass out from embarrassment. It was
Because
embarrassing.
And he lays her down on the beach, and he's like, "Hey, wake up." And
he hits a lot of women in this movie.
He hits the same woman. But, yeah. But, yeah, he, like, smacks her awake, and it's like, she didn't drown or anything. Why is she acting like, oh,
we find out later that her dad likes her being dominated, so we're good.
We're good. Yeah, like, very, like, pushing a misogyny agenda in this one.
Yeah, that's I think what you were talking about before, how it didn't feel natural. Like, there's, like, almost an agenda they have to fucking, like, push on the public.
Yeah.
Like, that dentist system thing we'll talk about later. What the fuck is that, man? Like,
yeah.
There was some writer that was like, women are so stupid. They'll just like,
yeah.
Like, check this out. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry. Spoiler alert.
There's this big fight. I don't remember what this was leading into.
It was he... Which I thought that was kind of cool. Like,
the fourth wall. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It was leading to the fourth wall, but I think that like the fight was kind of...
This big fight. And like he throws an anchor at it. Dude.
I even said before...
Gets hit in the head. Dude gets right up.
Yeah, he gets... Okay, yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. But I even said in the beginning that it kind of felt different. It felt
better. We're in 1969. Like, film standpoint, like, it looked better.
It did look better. It did look a lot better. And that bullshit, 1.5 times... We did a lot of 1.5 times because there's a lot of just dull moments. Well, I'm not even referring to that. I'm talking about how in the previous Bond movies, when there was a car chase scene, for example,
how they'll speed the shit up.
Yeah, just to kind of,
And they still did that with some of the fighting scenes.
Right, they did do it with a couple fighting scenes, but, and of course we were on 1.5 zoom or 1.5 times sometimes, but
yeah,
I think it was far and few between versus in the previous Bond movies where it was like, oh, let's just fucking speed it up. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I think there was a little more thought that was put into the Bond, or put into the movie, at least. Mm-hmm. Or not even thought, but more care and, maybe money. Fuck, I mean...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Up until that point with the fourth wall break. You
this
did
whole
not
fight.
Like that.
First of all, he drowns a guy, and then the guy just gets up. He's like, oh... he spits it out, apparently. I don't know. I don't know what he does, but he just gets up.
No, I'm done being drowned.
I'm done. Yeah. As you know, drowning is just a very quick thing. You get over it real quick.
Pretty simple thing to get over. Yeah.
So, basically,
like
as Bond's finishing off these other guys, the girl she takes his car, drives back up to the top of the beach, gets in her car and drives away. And he picks up her shoes, and he looks at the camera. He looks right in the camera, and he says, well, this never happened to the other fellow. Well, I mean, it's a different song.
Okay, but whatever. It's fucking Bond music.
And this one is the first one since Goldfinger that hasn't had its own song.
Yeah.
It's just some stock Bond music.
Right. Which is still nice. I initially liked the fourth wall break because I'm like, oh, okay, like they're saying like, oh yeah, Sean's not here. Which I kind of like that, but then they immediately killed it. I forget what's the next scene they go into. They went into.
He's just walking to the hotel.
Okay.
He like gets there, and he's walking in. He's just.
That's why I should probably take notes because I remember initially I did like the fourth wall break, and I'm even saying to you during the entire title sequence, I'm like, oh yeah, the fourth wall break's nice. Da 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 da. And then the second they get to the next scene, I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't like that.
Well, the reason I didn't like it is because, like, hey, we're watching him, like, okay, if you talk about, it's a certain form of media. Like, if we say something to, it's a little arrogant for me to say, if we say something to the fans, because I don't know that we necessarily have any, quote, fans yet. But if we talk to the public, and we say, like, oh, you guys at home, if we say something like that, well, this is a podcast. It's two douches in a room talking about stuff. So that's one thing, right? But a movie, is supposed to be, if you will, this escape, right? That our worlds aren't really supposed to touch, you know, other than me observing this. That to me,
Sure.
as far as movies go. I think a movie that really toes the line and does it great is Scream, where they're all like horror movie fans, and they talk about, you know, well, this can't happen yet. They talk about the acts and everything,
Right, that is
and
a
they
good
toe the
example.
line, but they never like look into the camera and be like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I think I might die in a minute.
Yeah, right.
You know,
That is a good example, actually. I didn't think about
they toe the line exactly,
The
and the
example
worlds
I-
don't touch, but
Yeah.
they're still talking about it.
The example I'm thinking of...
They're
was-
up against the fourth wall, but it's not broken.
Right.
It's holding up, strong.
Holding-
Strong fourth
it is
wall.
holding up strong. That is a strong fourth wall.
It's a strong fourth wall.
The example I'm thinking of, which I'm sure you've seen it, which I'm not sure, but Deadpool. I
Yeah.
think Deadpool does it really well.
Right.
That's an entirely different
And that's a
conversation.
whole genre. Yeah.
That's an
you're right.
and I wouldn't even say genre, but that movie,
Yeah.
it starts out with, well, this is crazy, huh? Like,
Well,
that's,
yeah.
they do it
and that's a
perfectly.
type of movie of like
You have to do
like
it
a
all the way
narrated
through.
movie. But you can't just in one spot of the movie be like, well, this didn't happen
Yeah,
to this
right,
fucking
exactly,
guy.
yeah.
And then just
And then go to
never
the
talk to
title
me
sequence, yeah.
again.
Well, that's what, in the fourth wall break in the beginning, I don't want to say I was expecting it because I know in James Bond movies I'm expecting a lot, but I'm not getting shit. And the early ones, I'm not getting shit out of these movies. But that first fourth wall break, if it was a modern movie, it probably would have been like, oh, well, I'm not the same James Bond, alright?
Yeah.
That's not me.
I just didn't like it because, and like we recast characters all the time. There's no reason to say it. You just move on, man.
Yeah.
I hated it. I didn't like it at all.
As a trope, which, this is me getting more kind of scientific about it, I guess. I wouldn't even say scientific necessarily, but more kind of liberal about it.
Okay.
As a trope, I think it did well, but to today's standards, how we view the fourth wall break, I don't think it did a very good job. But back in 1969 standards, nice.
Sure. I still hated it though.
Well, that's why you're a champion, Tyler. You know what?
We're good.
And guess what? Guess what?
What?
There's a right opinion and a wrong opinion. And somebody out there has the answer. If you have the answer, tweet us. Content Crisis 1.
And there you go. Also, one note in the beginning, we're talking about radioactive pocket lint to track people. M and Q are talking about it.
Just a
and
quick
then,
conversation.
Yeah, just a quick little conversation, unrelated.
Hey, what's that in your hand real quick? Oh, this? Radioactive lint.
Cool.
What do I do with it?
Probably use it for, our spy organization we got going on. No?
No, not planning on it.
Oh. All right.
Later.
And then it never gets brought up again the entire movie. It's incredible.
It would have been nice. It would have been nice.
It would, he's on...
Perfect setup.
Well, and like at the end, when he tells him, Operation Bedlam is off. That's no more, And then Bond goes off and does his own thing. He's like, I'm getting my girl out of there.
Right.
My lady,
Throw some radioactive lint on him.
Yeah, it was to, I think the radioactive lint was to track
It was a tracking device.
people.
pretty much.
Yeah. So I was saying like they should have like tracked Bond. Like what the hell's Bond doing? But then Bond would have done his thing anyway because he's Bond.
Don't you think radioactive lint would have just given someone radioactive poisoning and killed them?
Yeah. Maybe that's why they didn't continue with it. Maybe they shot that scene and they're like, well, how do we open the movie? We told M and Q they'd get more screen time.
This is a quick, this is not really off topic, but on the Wikipedia article, I quickly, did my little scanning thing. And it did say that this was the most, movie to book representation, or what's the,
Oh,
movie,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the most closely movie to book.
No, so they probably just did it poorly. They're like, should we put this radioactive lint thing in there?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta imagine, in the book, maybe, hey, we're gonna throw this radioactive lint, because in books, it's a lot different. It's, 3 books later, oh shit, that radioactive lint thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's a lot, it's not as, what, I mean, maybe stimulating? What is it about the book to movie. Because in a movie, you're like, oh, the radioactive lint thing never got brought up. But in a book, you read it and you're like, oh, fucking... And later, you're like, you don't even fucking think about it. You're like, oh, we read some fucking bullshit about radioactive lint and you move on.
Right.
In a movie, you're like, yeah, they never used it.
Yeah. Well, it seems like a good... If you're not going to use it later, why bring it up now?
I mean...
Unless it was just kind of the trope of like, okay, we have to talk about how 007's so irresponsible all the time. Because that's what we do. Because everybody just shits on Bond.
That is kind of a Bond...
yeah,
trope at this point is that Bond is irresponsible as fuck.
Yeah, he just...
Which I never knew that, by the way.
He's just this wild...
He's a wild card.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, what's Bond up to this week? Why is he still hired here?
Why does he still work here?
I feel like that's...
Q hates him.
That's like the number one, like, kind of rule of, like... I feel like any military service is, like, fall in. Right? Like, just know how to follow orders.
Bond's like, no, I'm drunk.
What's my rank? General? That's what I thought. It's like...
Commander Bond?
Commander Bond.
That's me.
Here. Yes, that's me.
Give me a martini, you whore.
It's kind of irresponsible. So Bond is... I'll tell you, honestly, I was lost most of this movie.
It's ridiculous.
I know that he ends up in Portugal or Spain or Mexico, and... he's fighting bulls, and then he ends up in the Alps. As far as the plot goes...
Description of this movie.
As far as the plot goes, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. Well, there's so much unneeded shit in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have this whole scene where him and the girl are falling in love. Just take all that out. I mean, we're talking... Like...
What do you want it to be? Do you want it to be a love story? Because half the movie, she's not there. Half the movie,
exactly.
She's not fucking...
You start the movie out like this girl is there the whole time, and then he's like, okay, I have to run along now and
go do my Bond thing.
Yeah, and then he fucks 3 girls up at the resort
non-stop. This isn't like just one time. He's like, I'll see you at 8.
Yeah,
I'll see you at 9.
See you at 9.
I'll see you
10,
at 10.
And then the last girl is 10.
Yes. No, I'll see you all at 11. Fuck it. Like, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, hey, you're back? I love you. Like, the fuck are you talking about?
You're saving me. Oh, did I tell you? There's a resort with whores. I was where have you been? This is a resort up on the top of the mountain.
They get all the way married. We're getting way ahead of ourselves, but I'll say it. They get all the way married, and I guarantee you they never had that conversation of, well, what did you do up there? Don't worry about it. I'll tell you about it later. Until she gets fucking killed. He's like, perfect.
Yeah.
Let's go. Sorry, I mean a chocolate bar. Let's go. Let's go in order here, because I don't want to get out of ourselves. This is a mess.
Let's try not to spend too much time on each individual note. But, because, I mean...
I can make it quick.
I'm front to back here, because there's just so much bullshit.
As always, front to back.
He runs into her at the casino. She gambles. She has no money. She's like, I have no money. And the guy's, I think she's going to get arrested or something. I don't know what the fuck's about to happen. And he's like, oh, my mind was elsewhere. I've got her covered. And just, like, pays the bill. And then, she tries to leave. And then, of course, Bond. Oh, hold on a second.
There's my next rape victim.
She's talking about blah, blah, blah. Risks are... You shouldn't take risks, fears for the people who don't want to stay alive. People who want to stay alive. Because she's suicidal. She tried to run into the ocean.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I forgot she was trying to kill herself.
Oh, I'm so pretty. My dad has so much money. I'm suicidal.
I mean, come on, Tyler. Let's not be sensitive here.
Okay.
Let's be a little empathetic. Okay, let's think about what she's feeling.
He says, "Please stay alive, at least for tonight."
Looks like Bond is
the Bond-isms sucked in this movie.
There were no good Bond-isms,
except for the end.
There was the two for one, which I did not like, where he said "Merry Christmas" and then walked away and said, "Should have gift wrapped you."
Is that, well, and it's
like that's not, you can't 2 for 1. That was 2 decent ones in 1. You can't just do that.
Yeah,
it's not good.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not
good. So it's a setup. She goes to her room, or he goes to her room. There's a dude waiting. And they get in a whole fight.
Yeah, he beats the shit out of him.
A dude twice the size of him.
Of course, Bond wins.
He figures it out. This is Gate Crusher.
Somehow-
I'll leave you to tidy up. I did say the fight scenes are better, but he feels like he's trying really hard to be Bond, like I said. He goes back to his room because he goes, oh, well, no sex for me. Just a large man I have to fight.
Yes.
So he goes back to his room. He's getting undressed. His gun's on the chair. And she gets his gun. She's like, suppose I were to kill you for a thrill.
She's in the room. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like in her underwear. Like with a little
Just
robe
ready.
on.
Just ready.
Yeah, but then she wants to stick him up.
Yeah. Naturally. That's what I would do.
That's what I do. I get my underwear
Naturally.
and then
Yeah.
I hold people at gunpoint.
Absolutely.
Suppose I were to kill for a thrill. I can think of something more sociable to do. And they have their little argument. And then he slaps her. It was a very fake slap. Very fake looking slap.
Very fake looking slap, but very real.
But it's very abusive. And then he goes, I can be much more persuasive. Like, wow. This is the first time Bond's threatening violence to women, huh? New step.
Yeah, this is
a new step
this
for
is a
Bond.
new step in the whole, psychopath profile of this man. He's an absolute monster.
I'm just hitting women now. And then you're like, is he just going to be hitting women? Is this a new thing?
He's
He's just going to be hitting women?
Bond trope. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he hit no more women. So, I don't know about Diamonds Are Forever, but I was like, wow, we're just really leaning into this thing, huh?
This isn't the first time. There's a couple of times in the movie where he really gets kind of close to the edge.
Oh, yeah, he straight up, he's talking to Moneypenny, and then he just gets right up on her, grabs her ass.
Oh, yeah, he gets really close to Moneypenny. I think closest he's gotten to a real
Workplace sexual harassment.
Workplace sexual harassment.
HR.
Yeah, he
need
might
to be
get called
involved.
to HR because Moneypenny's real flirty and she's fun, but I'm sure she doesn't. I'm sure she's got a husband. Like she doesn't want.
Yeah.
She's not really.
But then she cries at the wedding. Like she always thought, me and James eventually. Yeah.
Well, like that,
Yeah.
He's been lying to her.
My husband will die an untimely death.
Yeah, she's thinking about the long term. She's not thinking about the short term.
Can we talk about? He puts in his resignation, and then he goes back to his office. He's pulling all these things. He basically was pulling out all these props from the other.
Well, why did he
movies.
pull out his? You got to say why he said why he put in his resignation.
So he was removed from Project Bedlam, which is the pursuit of Blofeld, and of course,
The Dr. Evil character.
yes, M's like, what good's a license to kill if you don't have a target? And it's like, hold on, isn't killing supposed to be like last resort?
Right.
Like we're not just supposed to, here's your license to kill. You'll kill as many bad guys as possible.
I don't think that James Bond should have a license to kill. That's
He
insane.
really should.
You guys talk about how much you don't trust him with government equipment, let alone a license to fucking kill.
Yeah. Here you go, Bond. All right, now I'm gonna give you this. This is a killing license.
Yes, this.
You can
James,
kill
I'm gonna
anyone
give you
you
this.
want.
Please use this carefully. It's a toothbrush. Careful now, okay? But this is cool. This is just a license to kill. This is anything you want. They don't. This guy, he's a fucking mess, man. The
Yeah.
character of James Bond is a fucking mess.
Yeah.
To me, honestly, if I have to be honest, do I have to be honest?
No.
Well, I'm gonna be honest.
Okay, do it.
I think James Bond worked back in the day. Really worked. Because the character of James Bond is such a piece of shit. He is awful.
Yeah, that's true. He has inklings of like all the like blue collar, kind of like middle aged dudes you work with.
Love drinking.
They drink way too much.
They don't think. They're just, I'm gonna smoke, drink, and fuck all day.
Yeah.
It's like, man, this guy is cool. I am a real American. Like, fucking, the rednecks
And yeah.
love this shit.
Yeah.
But now, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to paint this beautiful picture of what I think today's world is. But in 2022, I'm sure that you got to make James a little more, not as rapey.
Yeah.
'Cause back then it was a little cool to be rapey. It was like, man, that guy gets pussy. It's like, well, he's kind of raping half the women he has sex with. Like, well, we're not talking about that.
We didn't really know what rape was.
Yeah,
then.
right. Rape is more of like an idea. You know, it's not really a crime at this time.
It's more of a costume. Did you know women don't always want to have sex with you?
That doesn't make any sense to me.
What?
So I'm going to have sex with you.
James, I don't want to.
I don't understand.
Okay, very
Okay,
funny.
so she-
Very funny.
Yes, so I was with Terry last night, and she said she didn't want to have sex with me. So guess what I did? Yeah, that's right. I had sex with her.
I had sex with
What did
her.
she do? She didn't do anything about it. No, she didn't call the police. Why? Because they would just say, "Well, it's James Bond."
Why?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Why would she call the police?
Oh, yeah. Why would
Men can do whatever we want.
anything? Yeah. Okay, I'll call you back. Oh, I love you, Mom.
Yes. What? Yes, I love you too, mother. Yeah. So he gets kidnapped. They. By the way, they make love, and she repays her debt. Steals his gun. It's a whole thing.
I don't even want to get into the whole thing, man. Honestly, I just want to talk about the stupid little nuances in this movie. The ins and outs of every single one of these scenes are it's dreadful. It's dreadful.
All right. Well. All right. It's got a couple little things here.
Bring it on. I want to hear it.
So he gets kidnapped. Goes to this. Basically, he's a mob guy type deal.
Yeah.
Some sort of mob guy over there, and.
Over in Switzerland or Portugal, where we at? Over the pond, across the pond. I guess.
Across the pond.
Across the pond.
You know, that other massive land over there.
Honestly, I think it was Portugal. Was like the place where they were fighting bulls, and then Switzerland was obviously the icy place.
Mm-hmm.
But they were definitely in Portugal.
Yeah, the Swiss Alps or whatever. Yeah, Swiss Alps. Is that? He's in Europe. They don't really say where they are for the whole first act, if you will.
I think it was at least somewhere in Europe.
Yeah, that's a safe bet.
Yeah, safe bet. Safe bet.
So basically, what it is though is these guys kidnap him, take him to their boss, and he's going to this meeting room, and basically he beats the shit out of all these guys, and then he gets in the room, and it's just that mob dude and his lady. They're playing chess. He like throws a knife at a calendar. It's all this bullshit, and they go through this whole thing. So this is where I was gonna say, kind of get the Austin Powers inspiration here for like two things, because I didn't see any other. I don't want to say the M word, right? I didn't see any other little people in any other Bond movies. So, but there was just a little person sweeping up the floor up front as they're walking through the guy's hideout.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that, man.
Yeah, it was just kind of random.
There was no like advocate.
I don't know
for
that
little people at that time.
Right. I don't know that there needed to be any sort of janitor there. I don't think the janitor added anything to the scene. You know?
Do you think like a little person just auditioned for one of the parts? So like, okay, next for James Bond, we got Billy Little, and Billy Little comes in and he's 3 feet tall, and you're like, what?
Look, Billy, that's incredibly ironic. He's like,
Well,
my
I
actor
want
name.
to be.
Oh, the voice.
I'm here for James Bond. I don't know. Maybe the voice is a little.
That's a little much.
Not a little much. Okay. Well, I assume they sound like fucking. You're right. This is a little much. But let's say. Oh yeah, I'm auditioning for James Bond. Okay. Well, you don't have the voice for James Bond. What do you mean I don't have the voice for James Bond? Well, you're fucking 3 feet tall, and you have the voice of a 17-foot man. So what role you got for me? All right, we're gonna make you a janitor.
Do I have any lines?
Now you gotta sweep up the floor.
All right, that'll work.
All right, that'll work.
But yeah, so I have to imagine that was be the inspiration for the whole mini-me thing in Austin Powers, because there's not really another evil villain, and I have to imagine that the writers of Austin Powers watched like every Bond movie. And even though there wasn't like a smaller version of this evil villain, they had to be like, well, what was that guy?
No.
What do we do with that? We should do that. Like, should we have like just a random little guy that walks through sweeping shit up all the time? Or wait, what if he was? You know, I have to imagine that's how that goes.
The natural evolution of it.
Yeah. Also, when Bond walks in the boss's office and all that, and throws the knife and all that shit, and then, you know, he shoos the woman away because, as you know, women can't be involved in man talk.
Man talk.
As he shoos the other girl away in Goldfinger.
But that felt different with Sean Connery saying it.
It did.
With George Lazenby, he seems respectful. Until you see what happens.
Until he smacks people around.
They're, respectful to a point. A church respect. Church respect.
Yeah. Behind closed doors, we're doing terrible things.
As George Lazenby will do.
But he says she also plays an excellent game of chess. Now, I don't know of another time in the whole Bond thing where any girls are playing chess. But if you remember from Russia with Love, dude's playing chess.
Right, yeah, I do remember that.
And in this movie, he's playing chess with this girl. And so there's that scene in, I believe, The Spy Who Shagged Me, where he's, this girl's like leading him on, and then she's like, you know how we stay warm. And she's like all like, flirtatious, and he's like, oh, I have an idea. And she's like, we play chess. And Oscar's like, oh. So I have to imagine that's probably the inspiration there.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
But their little talk. The boss is basically telling Bond just like his whole daughter's like life history. She married this guy who like killed himself, and she's just walking around depressed. And like, I know of everything you've done for my daughter. And Bond goes, everything? And he goes, oh, don't worry about that. And he's basically like, fuck my daughter. It's cool, man. It's cool. And then he said he wants to come to this agreement with Bond, where he's like, I want you to marry my daughter. She needs to be dominated. That's the line. He's like,
it is.
She needs to be dominated by a man.
Yes.
I'm like, what?
I don't know what that was about, but I screamed. I said, what? When that came on. I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah. So that was a bit much. Moneypenny, yeah. Stupid scene in love. Falling in love with the daughter, all that bullshit.
Oh, yeah. I mean...
Just like 10 minutes we're not getting back. Well, it wasn't even 10 minutes. It was like 5 minutes, but you didn't need it. It was unnecessary. The whole thing where they talk at the bullfighting ring.
I just don't know why he had to, actually fall in... maybe they were following the book.
Right. Maybe that happened.
I
yeah.
don't know anything about the book. Maybe the book was, him falling in love, and this is how the book went. And if they were following the book to a T, that's great. Maybe the book just sucked.
Maybe the book sucked.
Because, I don't think this fits the mold.
Right.
Of what I expected from,
well, because we haven't had this thing at any other point. Up to that point in the Bond movies, Bond's not really like a one gal type of dude.
Sure,
he's
whatever, yeah.
He's running around with whoever's there.
Yeah.
He's getting with her.
He's roofing everybody. He is. I'm not even really. The problem isn't with the fact that he married a girl. It's the fact that she only shows up in the beginning, and then she's out of the second act, and then in the third act she just comes back to get married. I don't think that's...
Yeah.
If you want Bond, I don't have a problem with that. Because what Bond's whole thing is that he is a womanizer.
Yeah.
And what is the ultimate form of womanizing? Having a wife. Or being about... whatever. But, to be the married Bond, whatever, you have, that girl, right? And have him deal with tragic loss is a really, to have him deal with tragic loss is a really, powerful storytelling.
Yeah.
Aspect or trope or whatever, But, again, she's only in fucking, not even half the movie. And, honestly, it's kind of confusing.
Yeah.
So I don't really think that it did it. I don't think it did a great job of,
I bet it's better in the book. I haven't read any of them.
Yeah, I guarantee it's better in the book. Because in the movie, that's...
Better in... Yeah.
In the movie, it's a mess.
It's bad. It just goes against everything of Bond. Now, granted, maybe it's just that unique tale. Because if you think about it, the books are all a continuous series. So, if you think that, this is that time Bond got married and, the bitch died, and it was a whole thing. And now he's different because of it. And then I wonder if that affects his character, moving on
forward,
in those books,
Which it probably does, yeah. Absolutely it probably does.
And if you're following the book, great. But, the way you've portrayed him up to this point, I feel like you just have to kind of cut that.
Yeah, you do, because...
And this is the only time Bond's fallen in love.
Up to this point, Sean Connery has portrayed James Bond as a insatiable, hungry rapist.
And that was, yeah.
He's not very charming. I mean, back then, I get confused because I don't know what lens to look through it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, to me, what I feel is that James Bond is not a good man.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think he was a good man. Maybe the book portrays him differently, but I do not think James Bond's a good man.
Hey, cut that out, put it in the intro. James Bond is not a good man. That's fantastic. It's around 51 minutes.
James Bond is an evil person.
Just the way you've portrayed him up to this point, you can do that. Like, change the story up a little bit. It just doesn't fit.
Right. It's a total character shift. All of a sudden, yeah, y'all marry her. The mob boss's daughter. Sure, fuck it, I'll marry her.
Yeah.
What, you were going to resign a week ago? Not anymore.
And now I am. Because
I am.
I'm getting married.
Right. It's like, oh, okay, so it's a mess.
And then we watch Bond make copies. He breaks in this dude's office.
Yeah.
This dude has a cement mixer. He throws a suitcase in there. A trunk, rather. It was a trunk.
By the way, I think this was the only time that he really used a spy, like, he only used spy equipment in this scene.
In this movie, yeah,
right.
The whole movie, that was the only time. That, yeah.
He, had this fucking... It was a whole device. It wasn't just... In the last movie, he was able to get through the lock with just a little device. Now, it's a whole fucking thing where somebody uses a crane to bring this equipment into the second story window.
Right, but you have to remember, not only was it a safe tapper, right, but it was also a copy machine.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. The copy machine is very important, I guess. Stealing the documents.
Yeah, he puts it in his cement mixer, and his little ally there has it lifted up to that balcony. He comes out, grabs it, sets it up, picks up a newspaper. Someone's hidden a Playboy in there. He's like, oh, and he's looking at the spread and smiling.
Looking at the centerfold.
Centerfold. There we go.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. And then he's making copies.
That's probably a 5 minute scene.
It's a 5 minute scene.
It's a 5 minute scene of him making
Yeah,
copies.
it's printing. He's like, did you see that? Let's get another shot of him printing stuff. There we go. I think they get it. You think they get it?
The worst part about that scene is that they have the suspenseful music going on.
Yeah.
And everyone, they keep cutting back to the guy's face, looking back and forth on the street.
Yeah.
But then and the fucking copier is just being a copier. It's like, this is terrible. I can't.
And then he walks out, and you think some dude's gonna come around the corner, and he just shuts the door, and he's like, all right.
Got his folder full of copies.
Yeah,
what are you gonna do with these things?
He's just walking around. Oh, by the way, he takes the copier / safe tapper, and he just tosses it back in the cement mixer.
Yeah.
Just yeah. Okay, it's very durable. Yeah, very durable copier.
He doesn't give a fuck about government equipment. We
know this. We know this.
Throw it in the trash. It's trash now. I don't know.
It's trash now. I've used it.
Yes.
It's of no use to anyone. I've used it now. Yeah, he just leaves. And he walks to M's office. And he's talking about this information he's got now. And now he's a butterfly expert. And M apparently is just at his office doing his hobbies.
I forget what that's called.
They said the word in the movie. I don't know, and I don't care enough to look it up.
Yeah, the study of
But he's like, now you're a butterfly expert.
Like
he's like, yeah, I know everything. James Bond knows everything, just so you know. He's a butterfly expert.
Which I think that goes part of that misogyny thing where it's like, oh, well, men know everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, well, this...
Mansplaining.
Mansplaining type of shit, right, exactly. So he's, oh, well, that's a Corthius butterfly. Oh, well, yeah, I bet you know what the fuck kind of... Get the fuck out of my face, James.
Exactly. So, yeah, he goes to Hilary Bray. Sir Hilary Bray.
Sir Hilary Bray.
Sorry.
It's his alias.
Well, there's a guy, and he's disguised as Sir Hilary Bray.
Well, right.
It's because this is... Oh, right there. Portugal. Where did I just see Portugal? I saw Portugal.
Yeah, I told you Portugal.
There it is. Draco's birthday party in Portugal. I was looking for it earlier because I wanted to confirm, and I just couldn't fucking find it. Okay. Now, of course, when you're not looking for it, it's like, Portugal! Yeah. Anyway, the whole plot of this movie is his in to get to Blofeld. This is because Blofeld wants to know more about his family history. That's how he gets in. I hated this movie.
I'm really interested in Ancestry.com. I need an expert to come
Except
out here.
it's 1969.
Yes. So what am I going to do?
Yeah. Bond figures out his title later. Just a quick note.
Sorry.
His family crest says the world is not enough. That's a title later.
The world is not enough.
Yeah. I believe in the Pierce Brosnan movies. That's one of the titles. Just a cool little thing. I have no idea what this fucking note is because I can't read half of it. It says, we found out why the girl screamed. Now we figured out where the Ivan came from. Look came from. I don't know what the fuck it says. So, whatever that note is.
It's bullshit.
We're leaving. I don't know. I don't remember a girl screaming. I don't know what the look, Ivan. I don't know what it is. So, moving on.
Okay.
At this point in the movie, I said at least he's doing spy things.
You're talking about when
he's undercover.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's undercover. He's
I think we
figuring
should
out
kinda-
magnetic locks. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. No, I mean we're getting there. I don't think
Oh,
we've
okay.
gotten there yet. What
Right.
I was going to talk about.
But he's at this resort where
Yeah.
supposedly all these girls get treated for their allergies.
That's where I was. Yeah, that's where I was.
This girl says, chicken used to make me break out all over. You'd be surprised where. And then she's eating chicken and staring at him. Yeah. And they're just basically, because it's all these girls locked up in this facility, and so they're
psychos. They're
it's
all
like
insane.
that Catholic schoolgirl, classic thing of the Catholic schoolgirls are naughty because they're all locked up and there's no men around.
Right.
So the presence of men is,
Insatiable.
it's insatiable. So they're showing all these girls eating, and the one girl's deep throating a banana when she's eating. It's not that dramatic, but she's really sticking it in her mouth.
Yeah.
And I want to. In 1969, I wanted to see the director that tells that girl, really, act like that banana's a dick.
Right, suck it.
Yeah,
suck that
really
banana.
suck that banana. I want to see that instruction and the girl just in 1969 just going
Being uncomfortable. You want me to suck it?
You want me to suck the banana?
It's $75,000 I'm paying you. Yeah, suck the
right.
banana.
Oh, by the way, we didn't do budget. We'll do the budgets at the end because I wrote down every budget for every Bond movie.
Okay, I bet. All right, we'll do it.
So yeah, this girl writes a lipstick on his leg in lipstick, her room number.
Yeah.
Did you? You had something about all the girls, right? Or was it about the food thing?
Really, ultimately, the worst part about that whole scene is them eating.
Yeah.
Because they really chow down.
And it's just forever.
And a long time, they're just eating. And it's really gross.
Yeah.
Because they're not eating, attractive food. They're eating corn on the cob and,
she's
tater
eating
tots.
chicken.
And
She's
chicken,
staring at him eating chicken.
Eating fucking chicken wings. It's fucking gross.
Yeah.
And then the women are beautiful.
They're all beautiful women.
What is going on here?
Look, they hit a diversity quota there. They did do women from all over the world.
Which, I like how this is they're all over the world in 1969.
Yeah,
they're
yeah. One.
And then
one.
I don't know if you noticed this, by the way. In the credits, it says the girls. It says the girls, and then it says all of it says
and they don't have names.
It says
India.
Irish girl.
Irish, yeah.
Right, so it says Irish girl, but I love how their idea of girls from around the world is just a girl from every fucking country in Europe, and then Indian girl, Australian girl.
Yeah. Most of them white.
Yeah,
and then an Indian and an Asian.
Yeah, and then there was also they had one other one. I forget, it didn't say African. It was it was something, I forget what the fuck it We got to go back and look at the credits. But
we have Australian, American, Israeli, German, Irish, English,
Israeli.
Scandinavian, Chinese, Jamaican, Indian.
It was the Israeli one that threw me because
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't tell which one's like. I'm like, what? There was a fucking Israeli girl.
It was
there?
basically like white, color.
Yeah,
And then
like,
it's
they're
like
like,
done.
yeah, they don't really
Yeah.
have an idea of what's going on out there in the world.
Ridiculous. So, you know, Bond's being a little horn dog, of course. He's like, well, if you give me a room number, I'll show you these pictures.
Yeah.
Talking about 4 golden balls and like...
Oh, yeah. And you had said about she wrote the lipstick on him.
Yeah. She reaches... He's wearing a kilt, by the way.
Oh, yeah, shit. I forgot about
Apparently, knights wear kilt, because, sir, that means you've been knighted, right?
that. Yeah, I think the kilt, I don't think that's a big issue. Like, I'm sure there was a reason. And
Right, and he's wearing this little patch, or not a patch, this necklace-ish thing that hangs on his kilt. And it's a pouch.
Right.
Right,
Yeah, I mean,
and of course it's convenient, like, right over his dick. And so she writes the number on it under his kilt on his leg. And, you know, the lady...
Fraulein, yeah.
We'll call her Fraulein. I don't remember what her fucking name is. And she's
Fraulein.
like, everything
She's like-
okay, Sobre? And he's like, oh yes, just a stiffness coming up in the shoulder.
That was a good Bondism. That was a good
That
Bondism.
was a good Bondism. That was a good Bondism.
That's a good Bondism.
That's fair. Just a stiffness coming up in the shoulder.
shoulders.
Yeah. Coming on in the shoulder.
Yeah,
There we go.
stiffness coming on in the shoulders.
Yeah. He goes and meets Blofeld. They changed the guy who plays Blofeld. It was Donald Pleasant's last movie.
How many actors at this point? I know you're trying to figure it out, but do you know how many actors they've had at this point?
To my knowledge, it's 2. I don't know if Donald Pleasance did it because they had like a number 1. Like I couldn't find him credited on the Wikipedia page because I know there's a number 1 in From Russia with Love when they talk to that yelling girl with the knife foot.
Yes.
And that other sweaty guy whose plan fails. The chess player. So I know he talks there. I think he talks in Goldfinger. No, I don't think we see any number 1 in Goldfinger. No, I don't think so. But, so I know a dude plays him there. There's a number 1 in Thunderball. So I don't know who plays him there.
At least 2.
So it's at least 2.
Okay.
If I had to guess, probably 3.
I thought this
did it
actor for
everywhere.
Blofeld the inspiration for Dr. Evil it's incredibly...
Oh, it's obvious, for
It's
sure.
obvious. It's so obvious.
But the continuity thing is Blofeld had a little eye scar.
Yeah.
And You Only Live Twice, and he has nothing in this movie. He just has a face.
Oh, that's right.
It's like,
I didn't even think about that. You're right. I didn't fucking realize that.
But he has this little meeting with Blofeld. And then he reports to Ruby's room.
Real quick, before
Yeah.
we get too far into the whole Dennis systeming all these women, I want to comment how I did not realize that it was I didn't realize it was Bond until he took his glasses off.
Yeah, he fucking Clark Kented you.
Yeah, he Clark Kent. I swear to God, I've never been Clark Kent in my life.
Yeah, he had a pair of glasses and a top hat on.
Because
He takes his glasses off. You go, that was Bond the whole time?
Yeah,
it was like the comic response of like...
I've been like kind of drinking and smoking a little bit, so I've been, I get a little tipsy.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of watching the movie. And, my initial thought is, who the fuck is this nerd on this helicopter?
Yeah.
Because he got glasses and a fedora on, and I'm like, this guy's fucking lame, and he's getting airsick, and I'm like, Jesus. And then he gets back to the fucking hotel
Well, he's
room.
acting.
Yeah, apparently.
He's being a spy.
He's being a
And
spy.
you're like, that's a damn good spy.
Yeah, he takes his glasses off, and I'm like, wait a minute. Takes the fedora,
Hold on.
Takes the fedora off, and I'm like, this motherfucker, right? That might have been my bad, though, because I'm not used to seeing Mr. Lazenby
Right. Exactly.
run the right.
That's
really what it was.
Yeah, the only undercover shit Bond's done is he's like, he puts his little wig on and a little skin
Yeah, he's
over,
like, I'm
extra
gonna
skin
turn
over his
myself
eyes. He's
Japanese.
like, I'm Japanese now.
Yeah, Lazenby puts a fucking hat on and the glasses. And I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
It's Clark Kent. Yeah, he goes to Rose's room and he's talking, and so he's supposed to be gay, I guess, because I didn't really,
all the
all the girls are like, I thought you don't prefer women, And he goes, well, not usually, but you're special. And then he's like, oh, Hillary. And he's like, call me Hilly.
Yes.
Like,
He says, call me Hilly. And he said, this is very important because he says the same thing like 3 fucking times. He says, call me Hilly.
Yeah.
And then after that, what is
like,
it?
You look, don't turn the light on. You look so good. Especially by firelight.
Yeah, especially by
You're
firelight.
a picture. Oh, I want to see the pictures. And it's like, but you're a picture yourself.
Yes.
You look so good, especially by firelight.
Boom.
I thought you don't prefer women. I don't usually, but you're special.
Locks that in at 8 o'clock.
And then he comes back to his room.
Comes back to his
American
room.
girl is like, hey. And then he gives her the whole same line.
Exact same lines. Like a fucking sociopath.
Yeah.
That's insane, dude.
And then he's got the whole thing planned for that next night. But he rolls in the room, and Fraulein's like, this guy's been running around fucking my girls,
subjects.
my subjects. And so he goes, Ruby, and he like, grabs her in bed, and then Fraulein sits up, and he goes, oh, Fraulein, fancy seeing you here. And then he gets clubbed over the head. Not to mention, he's in Ruby's room, and Blofeld has all these tapes because I guess part of their treatment is they get like a hypnotizing
very
kind of thing.
MK Ultra
treatment.
Very
a little bit, yeah.
Very MK Ultra.
And she just one of the things that Blofeld says in the little recording is I've taught you to love chickens.
Yes, I forgot about this. Yes. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's going on about chickens, how she's allergic to chickens, and then he's like, I've taught you to love chickens. And it's just the cheesiest line. You get it if you watch the movie. I understand that like a lot of these movies were probably like just like talking to the ether, and most people watched them, and like it's unfortunate they're not available on some kind of streaming at the moment, because we could be like, go watch it on here, but they're not. Like, I just own all the DVDs, so like, I don't know, try your local library if you want to watch these movies.
Yes, I mean,
or we're just talking to dead air.
Or your local, secondhand DVD store.
Oh, for
like
for sure, yeah.
I mean, most stores, if you're listening to this in America, you probably have the ability to go to a secondhand store. Shit, if you're in Europe, I guarantee they have secondhand DVD stores. Or a secondhand video game store, like a GameStop.
Or if you're into movies and collected movies, I mean, shit, pick your movie up. But I mean, most DVDs on Amazon, you're talking like, I mean, granted, if they're in good stock, but you typically get like a DVD on Amazon for like $5.
If you like movies, if you really, really like, just maybe not cherish movies, I don't think I cherish them, but if you appreciate movies, for what they are, buy you a fucking $5 movie and watch it.
Do the collection thing, man.
Dude, I mean,
that's the only movie I need to buy is No Time to Die. It's the only one I don't own. I own all the other Bond movies. Well, and I also don't own Never Say Never Again. But that you like can't find anywhere. It's a Connery movie. I've not seen it.
Yeah, it's probably. I mean,
it's hard to find. It's like Connery came back like randomly, and I think in the middle of the '70s and did it. I'd have to do more research on it, but
we should. You know what? You can cut this if you want. We should buy it.
We should try to figure it out. Yeah, I'd love to do it. Yeah.
After we're done with this, we're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. But like, so I guess the whole thing with why it's not like crazy recognized is because, like Albert R. Broccoli and Ian Fleming had like nothing to do with it.
Right. Yeah, you told me that.
And they had like everything to do with pretty much everything else. I mean, obviously it had to be passed on at a certain point because these guys are fucking ancient, and so they die at a certain point. But.
Yeah.
It just wasn't the traditional people involved, and so it's not like real recognized.
Overall, I mean, this might be getting way too. This is getting really ahead of it.
Okay.
Overall, I think Ian Fleming and Albert R. Broccoli do a fucking great job.
Sure.
In the James Bond universe. Overall, I mean, I've seen. This is the fifth movie, right?
We're on 6.
This is the 6th movie. Yeah.
Well,
so
no. Rush with Love, Goldfinger, Thunderball, twice. On Majesty Secret Service, 6.
Yeah, this is the 6th one.
7th is Diamond Dog Forever.
I mean, if I had to overall rate the Broccoli franchise, I'd say it's pretty good.
I'm not sure how long they keep going. We'll have to look that up later too.
I mean, eventually get to the end of Broccoli's.
And the other thing about the girls thing is the kilt reveal. Like, you know how, like, usually the big, like, naked reveal is a girl, like, dropping her dress?
Oh,
and the
yeah,
dude's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah. But the girl's, like, laying in bed and she's all giggling.
Oh, yeah.
And he, like, drops the kilt. And she goes, it is true! And, like, I don't know what the fuck that means.
I did not even realize that. That's fucking hilarious.
I'm not sure what so it is true meant for her, because he was talking about, like, 4 gold balls earlier. Is it gold balls? Is it... you are special, that is true. Like, I'm not sure what the fuck it was supposed to mean.
I forget what the exact word. He was talking about different, like, bezels that you put on, like a seal of arms. And he was talking about, like, oh, you put, like, that's a sword, or that's a shield, and that's a, I forget what the word is. But then she's like, oh, what does that mean? And he's like, oh, well, it means gold balls.
Yeah.
And
4 gold balls.
Right,
yeah,
right. It means gold balls. And then... afterward is that scene where she's like, "Oh, it is true." So I think it was more
like
kind
maybe
of
he hung something there.
Well, no, I think it was more in reference to that kind of like, "Oh, well, you've got golden balls."
Balls, look at those
like
balls.
Golden balls. Listen, man.
Never had your
I know
balls
as men, we
complimented.
sit down there and look at them, and we're like, "God, look at them balls."
Look at my balls.
Look
man.
at them
Those
balls.
look good.
I mean, like, I very seldom look at my balls. And I'm like, them things look good.
Right.
There's very, very few girls out there that are like, I want a nice set of balls. You know, they want dick. I'm not trying. No, I'm not speaking for the women out there. I'm speaking for the men.
Yeah.
You have to have a nice set of balls, man. You gotta have a nice set of balls.
All right, we're talking about balls a little too long. Let's go.
You want to move past it?
I want to move past the balls.
Let's move on to what golden balls are. So
no, we're good.
All right. Past it?
So,
okay.
yeah. Blofeld smokes weird. Picture this. Guy smoking a cigarette. Guy's got an open palm, right? He's like holding his hand out like, give me some change, sir.
Right.
Cigarette's in his mouth. And then he comes up and he brings his thumb and his index finger together. Never moving his hand.
Very unnatural.
From, like, open change position.
If you smoke
and
a
he just
cigarette,
brings thumb and index finger. And that's how he smokes. He holds it, and he comes up, and he takes it out of his mouth. And then he's holding it as if, he were holding, like a
pen,
teacher.
like a pen.
Like a teacher with, like, a stick. It's like, and this, and number 2, and number 3, right?
Right.
But
yes.
that's how he smokes. And it bothers me. I don't like Blofeld.
Yeah. He said, I don't like Blofeld.
And he's giving James the talk about his little world. Basically, he's doing world infertility. That's his big master plan on his...
Which, overall, like, when you're looking at it from a big picture standpoint, that's pretty cool. Like, you're just gonna, like, make every woman and every fucking plant infertile. Like, okay, it's a cool idea.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But when he's talking about it, it doesn't sound that cool.
Yeah, he says no humans, and I'll wipe out plants and cereals.
Word. You gonna take out the cereal?
Not golden grams!
Not the cereal!
Fruit Loops!
No, not the...
Certainly not honey bunches of oats.
Yes.
Especially honey bunches of oats.
No, you wouldn't dare.
What about shredded wheat thins? Or no, what shit? What's that called? Frosted mini wheats.
Frosted mini wheats.
You wouldn't dare touch my frosted mini wheats.
I would
dare. Yeah, cereals. That got me.
You know what I think is safe though?
I've taught you to love chickens.
I think Rice Krispies are probably safe though, right?
Right.
Rice Krispies are safe.
Yeah. Snap, crackle, pop.
Hey. Yeah. Rice-based cereal. I'm in that shit, man.
I'm in. But that's all after he's caught. And he gets taken to the pulley room, if you will, of all the cables for the ski lifts.
I don't know.
Is that what you call that? Pulleys?
Like, I would say that's like
gears.
Entry point for the gondola. I don't know. The pulley
I thought
room,
gondola was like a chandelier.
No, gondola is. I don't want to sound really stupid.
I don't know how to spell it.
This is the most American bullshit. Oh my god, we're so American. All right, so look up gondola. Yeah, I think
A
it's
light, flat-bottomed boat used on Venetian canals, having a high point at each end and worked by one oar at the
holy
stern.
fuck. So I've been saying the wrong word for this shit. So it is not a gondola. A gondola is it's
So we were both wrong because I thought it was a chandelier and you thought it was
no, a chandelier is a okay
chandelier.
Right, so let's work through this the American way.
But wait, what were you saying it was?
I was saying
A
gondola.
wheel?
I was saying gondola. You were saying
But
chandelier.
you were saying it was a wheel?
No.
What were you saying a gondola was?
No, I was saying a gondola was the fucking the lift.
Oh no, I
That
think that's
ferry
just a ski lift.
No, I think
Is what you would
I
call
think
that.
there's a word for it though. I mean, a gondola. Obviously, like I'm not retarded because
Ski lift gondola.
I know a gondola is a word.
Ski lift gondola. Ski lift gondola. There you go.
Okay, so
So
what is
there's
a gondola?
gondola. There's
It is a
multiple
gondola,
things.
right?
I thought a gondola was a chandelier.
No.
That's what I was confused about.
No, chandelier is just a fucking like a light fixture. But so they
I
are
just
called
want to type in
gondolas.
gondola chandelier real quick.
Yeah, I mean it could be a chandelier. It's CHAN.
Chandelier gondola.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah, I mean,
so like same deal, like kind of a boat-ish thing. That's what. All right. So we're both right.
here's the thing.
Everybody's right.
We were born into a country where we are not completely ignorant, but we have a lack of true understanding of the world. So,
Sure.
like, we say things, we're like, oh, yeah, I know what tacos are. Like, I know Mexican culture, I go to Taco Bell.
Well, that's yeah.
Well, that's, I mean, like, but that's
That's
kind of the
so-
same problem. Is
yeah.
it like, okay, like, oh, yeah, I know what a gondola is. It's like, do you
There's-
hardly
there's
know
many-
what a fucking gondola is?
Apparently, there are
Fuck.
many.
There's different forms of a gondola, right?
Apparently.
So you talk to Italians,
We just
and it's
learned.
like Italians are like, no, a fucking gondola is a fucking Venetian boat. It's like, no, it's a ski lift.
Right.
Might be a little ignorant, but I don't think it's truly ignorance. It's more laziness
Yeah.
with Americans.
Absolutely.
Because we have so many options. It's like, well, my gondola is a ski lift. Your gondola is a boat. Fuck you.
Mine's
I
a
don't-
chandelier.
Exactly. Yours is a chandelier.
So he's in that
you
room.
said mine's a chandelier.
So he's in that
fuck 'em.
room with all the cables that take the ski lift, the gondola.
Right, okay, so excuse
Right.
me. Right, so we were talking about that. I think it really was just like the room where like all the gears are. I think.
Right.
Sorry, yeah.
Which is
The
essentially
room.
what I was saying. So you just said what I said, basically.
Right,
again.
so like I'm
Yeah.
saying what you're saying. Yeah, so there's so I'm saying what you're saying.
I love that. You say it's like Charles does that to me all the time, where it's like I'm saying a thing, and then he's like, "Okay, describe like where that pen is sitting on the desk."
It's on the desk.
Actually, it's not really like on the ground or on the ceiling, but it's kind of like on the desk, like in the corner.
Right.
And both Charles and Dakota do that to me sometimes. It's just funny. But yeah, so he's in that room, and he tries a couple things. It's not going well, right? So Bond he takes his pockets out,
Yeah.
and he just turns them off.
Okay, hold on. You gotta really explain this.
So
Because
like,
I don't think people
say you got a
understand.
pocket, right?
All right.
He's wearing dress pants. Now, granted, like here I got jean pockets on, right?
Yeah, these are jean pockets.
And,
Pull
you
your
know-
pockets out all the way out.
Yeah, they're all the way out as far as I can go. Now, I've never
We gotta
tried to
test
rip my
this.
pocket.
I'll test it. I'll test it on these pants. I don't give a fuck.
You don't
Because
know-
I
you
don't
don't
think
care
it'll
about
work.
those
I
pants?
don't listen. This is
Okay.
how much I fucking know that this.
So
will not
basically,
work.
he pulls the pocket all the way out.
And this is a guy who's decently athletic, right?
Yeah.
He's not. I mean, this guy's decently strong.
And so what he does is he just takes the pocket.
And-
He gets a big handful of pocket. He does it one side at a time,
All right, so one side at a time. I'm going
Yeah,
right.
so
I'm
he
going to
gets
go
a
right
big
first
handful
because
of
I'm right dominant.
and he holds the pants and then he just turns it off in one shot.
Dude, I actually holy
It's
shit,
You just ripped your jeans,
dude! I think I just ripped them a little bit.
from the inside.
Holy shit!
All right, so maybe that one checks out.
I mean,
But
like if I
okay, so
put
here's the
enough,
deal.
like
Hold like.
I'll
okay.
go left. I'll go left.
I would ask public
Yeah.
if you have pockets right now.
Yeah.
Feel the inside of your pockets. Like pull the pocket out, and just feel how thick the layer of fabric is of the pocket.
Well,
let me ask you.
Hold on.
Do you think you could use them as mittens to climb across steel cables.
I think that's the ultimate
Do you
question.
think that the fabric of the pockets would not wear away in 3 or 4 strokes of just sliding down the cable?
After almost ripping my pockets out of the socket, I'm realizing that the real point is that I don't think that James Bond using his pockets is the right
So yeah,
idea.
maybe the tearing out of the pockets is fine. Maybe it's realistic because yeah, you did just kind of damage your pocket.
Yeah, a little bit, but I don't think it was that. I
And maybe,
really have
but,
to tear these.
And I would think with like dress pants, because like okay, we're wearing jeans,
Yeah.
right? I would think with dress pants, your pockets are probably even more flimsy, right? Because dress pants are like a thinner fabric. They're like a nice thing. Like we're wearing jeans.
Yeah,
They're supposed to be a little durable.
Yeah, right.
So like I especially don't think dress pants pockets. You're just sliding down a cable. And like I feel like that fabric's wearing away like that, dude. Just you're gonna tear something.
That's a good point.
I think. I've never done it. And I'm not gonna do any experiments because I'm an American.
I mean, listen, I've got so many pairs of dress pants.
I talk irresponsibly, and so that's what I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna do it. Next week.
You're gonna get some dress pants pockets and steel cables, and you're just gonna start.
No, I think
jerking off a steel cable.
I think next week. Yeah, I mean next week what we do is you bring over a fucking steel cable.
Yeah.
I got a steel cable guy. Don't worry about
it. I got a steel cable guy. Don't even trip.
Yeah. So I'm gonna bring a steel cable guy over, and I'm gonna fucking pull my pockets out and see what happens, man.
Yeah, when he's in that room, there's a couple that like he looks at the wheels, and everything starts moving on him, and he's like, oh, and then he looks at his watch, and then that's it. Like he just looks at his watch. You think maybe he's synchronizing something?
I thought that he was synchronizing his watch.
I think it's just as random as if someone's using the lift. It's gonna move. I don't think it has anything to do with your watch. It was just funny, as if he's like, "Oh no!"
Every 5 minutes.
What time is it?
That's what. Dude, this is exactly what I thought his thought process was. Ready? Gondola goes. He watches because this is exactly the scene they show us. The gondola goes, and then it comes back, and he's looking at his watch.
Yeah.
Right. And then he starts scaling this shit.
And then it starts moving again.
And then it starts moving, and it's like, okay, so what? You just didn't have a good read, or like.
Yeah.
You're not like you're kind of taught as like a fucking secret service agent to like follow patterns, right?
Yeah.
So like if every 5 minutes the gondola fucking goes, every 5 minutes don't follow the fucking gondola.
Right. But I think maybe he tried to get it. If there's anything of that scene, unless it was just completely random.
But okay.
Unless maybe he was trying to beat a deadline.
So
there's that factor too of like maybe he was trying like he knew the girls were leaving or whatever, and he was trying to get there.
So what?
But it just seemed really pointless that he was just like...
He wanted to meet a deadline to what? Like rape more women?
No, because they're leaving and he's got to follow... You know, he's got to try to intercept the whole plan. He's got to see what the plan is.
I mean,
they get parting gifts.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you're right. Actually,
it was just... It was a funny sequence was all. Because he's like, the wheels are turning. What time is it?
But I think, I honestly, like, I don't want to... I know we're going to sit here for an hour. You said don't spend an hour on every fucking scene. But this scene's very important because when he looks at his watch, it means something. What the fuck does it mean?
I think it was the deadline thing.
Okay. All right. Because I didn't think about that. The deadline thing.
Because he knows they're leaving. He's got to figure out Blofeld's plan, all that shit.
That's true. Yeah,
I think it's that.
I agree.
Right.
I'd agree because I'm more desperate than anything. Because at this point, like, I even told you. I thought it was like a synchronization thing.
I did, yeah. That's what I was trying to think of. And then only really sitting here now hashing it out did I go, oh, maybe it's that. That's the benefit of, like, talking with people is you just go, like, you don't kind of unlock, you get words moving. Right. And then you're like, oh, maybe.
Kind of figure out a little differently, yeah.
It gets the,
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, that's a good point. Maybe he was trying to, figure out Blofeld's plan. Original thought from me.
Skiing green screens were rough. He finally gets away. He's skiing down the mountain. He's one skiing at a certain point.
Yeah.
His ski breaks.
I mean, like, we can't go after map over the green screen.
No.
We can't go over.
It's
the
just
green screen's fine.
Again, it's just an age thing where you just point out like,
right.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I'm not being a cunt with the green screen. It's just I really do like old movies.
Yeah.
And so when you watch old stuff and you just go like, nah.
Yeah, because it was kind of
kind of stuff.
Because you definitely know there was a person, like a stunt double, doing some fucking...
Because there was real skiing.
There was real skiing.
On. Yeah, so
there was some... they would do a quick scene of, like...
Just Lazenby's
with
face.
The fucking... He'd have his fucking, what do they call them skiing? What are these called?
The ski sticks? I don't know, man. I don't ski, man. I don't know.
Whatever the fucking ski sticks
We're calling them ski sticks.
Yeah, by the way. Fucking,
ski jousts?
Yeah, the jousts. Yeah, the ski jousts.
Ski jousts.
He's got a ski joust up
ski
like
poles?
This.
I bet it's ski
It's poles.
It's definitely poles,
it's
right?
Poles. Yeah, it's poles. Holy fuck. Did he really just take that long to figure out poles?
I don't know, man.
Holy shit, bro. Anyway, so he's got his poles up like this, and every couple of seconds they show a scene of fucking Lebowski or whatever the fuck his name is doing this.
Lebowski, George Lebowski.
Fucking
That's
George
good.
Lebowski.
Yeah, Lazenby,
Yeah. So I mean,
yeah, you need it in some cases. I get it. And with the old stuff, it's not like a what the fuck is a green screen? It's just kind of like a nah, you know.
right, like a little.
I like the old stuff, man. It's good. I just thought it was funny because it's like, well, was it that they didn't want that second angle of the stunt dude coming down the mountain? Because you're not gonna tell that it's not Lazenby because he's got the goggles and the hat on and everything. So was it that they didn't want to do that whole like second angle of the camera, or do you think it was really that important that they're like Lazenby needs FaceTime right now? I could see that.
I could think that in 1969, continuity, what they thought of continuity was a little different than what we thought today.
Well, and I bet it's an actor thing of like, dude needs FaceTime. So like they may have the stunt dude like going down the mountain skiing, but like he's like Lazenby needs FaceTime in the scene.
That scene was so quick. Those scenes where he was flying down the mountain on the green screen were so quick.
Right, it's flashes. It's literally
I
like,
think it really comes
what's
down
going on? Okay.
It really comes down to an After Effects.
Yeah.
Or I don't even CGI because it's not computer graphics. But
oh, so you're saying
I'm saying like the post
lengthen the scene a little bit. Yeah, because if you just watch them go down a mountain for 60 seconds, it's not going to be as like.
No, I'm not even really saying. I guess I'm not really even saying that. I'm just saying.
What are you saying?
Okay, all right. Let me get.
Well, let's see if you are
cutting
saying
me
anything.
off, and it started to piss me off. All right. No, I'm just saying that as far as continuity goes, right?
Yeah.
In 1969, right? So we watch a film right now, right? You go and watch a fucking. This is the only. I don't know why it's on my fucking mind. You go watch Deadpool, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why it's on my. Maybe it's the fourth wall break. But you go watch that, and half of the scenes that you watch aren't really. They're not real, right? Because there's a lot of computer reference.
A lot of CGI, yeah.
Exactly. So you can throw anything in there. Throw a fucking red costume on it. Or paint a red costume on it. And look, that's fucking Deadpool.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was... You had to try really fucking hard to make the consumer or the viewer believe that that is James Bond going down that fucking hill. Right? So their market, or at least their ability to find like a stunt double that looks like George Lazenby was probably a little bit harder, right? You're like, he's got brown hair, he's got this, he's got that, right? So we need a person who looks like George Lazenby. So you go out there, you fucking write in the newspaper, put a fucking ad up,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? All of a sudden, here comes three Joe Schmoes, and it's like, yeah, I look like George Lazenby. Yeah, I look like George Lazenby. What about me? Well, what are you guys willing to do? I'll ski down a fucking mountain.
All right.
Well, what, you got brown hair? Yeah, I got brown hair. Let's send you down the mountain. Now.
Where are we going?
Now, well, fucking listen. Now, in 2022, can you fucking listen,
I
you
am
motherfucker? In 2022, it's a lot easier to be like, looking for a person who looks like George Lazenby. You have to look like George Lazenby or else you don't fucking show up.
Right.
So, all these people come out and it's like, do I look like George Lazenby? Do I look like George Lazenby? No, yes. This guy's coming over here. Do you know how to ski? No, what about you? This is my George Lazenbys. You know how to ski? You know how to ski? You know how to ski? No, yes, no, come in. So you got all these people flying down this fucking mountain, and they all look like George Lazenby. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, seriously, do you understand what I'm saying? I'm saying back in the day, it was a lot harder to actually find somebody who looked like George Lazenby to throw down this mountain.
Yeah, I got
now
it.
in 2022, you'd be like, I got a fucking 100 of these George Lazenbys willing to fly down this mountain for $50,000.
And that's the purpose of the green screen.
But that's the difference.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the purpose of the green screen. Now it's like,
That was the longest possible way of saying that's the purpose.
fucking listen to me. God, come on. You send this person down the mountain looking like George Lazenby now, and it's like, okay, I got him. Back then, it was like, I got fucking Bob.
I got Bob.
I got Bob with the brown hair dye.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
No close-ups for Bob.
Back then, no close-ups for Bob. Now it's like, who does this guy look like? I bet I look like Ryan Reynolds.
All right.
Was it really that hard to follow? I don't think it was that
I
hard.
know, it was just the longest possible path, you know?
Well, fuck it. That's how the entertainment works,
No,
man.
that's fine.
People
That's good.
fucking hooked, man. What do you want to give them all? Listen, man.
It's good. It's good.
Ask me what the number one rule of sales is.
All right, what's the number one rule of sales?
I don't know, man. I've never sold anything.
All right.
What the fuck are you talking about?
In that scene going down the mountain, there was about 4 times of day. The shot of Blofeld answering the phone. We have a problem. He's got like sun shining in. It's morning.
Yeah.
He's got sunshine on his face. He's like, oh, he hangs on the phone.
Right, because he was
Sun
supposed to be
shining in.
escaping.
He's escaping at night.
He's escaping at night.
It's morning, and then he's skiing down the mountain, and it's night. And then they go, shot at the top of the mountain, it's morning. Shot going down the mountain, it's night. Morning, night, morning, night. What are we doing? What are we doing? And then when he gets down to the town at the bottom of the cliff, it's night. It's still night. So what was the morning thing about? I don't know what's going on. There was some like, we're done shooting, and it's like, oh, we didn't get the Blofeld thing. Do we have any shots of him answering a phone?
The phrase movie magic comes in.
Yeah.
Movie magic for sure.
Yeah. So that was good. So when the girl rescues him, and they're driving away, and he tries to contact London, and they shoot the phone booth, and he runs away, gets back in the car, and then they're running, and they go to that festival, and there's this little Swiss car race going on. And he goes, let's drive into that crowd, maybe it'll discourage them. And it doesn't discourage them.
I think like
they're evil people that want to make everybody on the planet infertile. And so I don't think they mind taking out a few people in a large crowd.
I mean, that whole scene where they, where James Bond escapes the goons, I'll just call them goons.
Yeah, and Fraulein.
Where James Bond...
Fraulein and the goons.
Fraulein, yeah. Where James Bond escapes Fraulein and the goons. I don't think it was a terrible scene.
No, it's a fine scene.
But I do think it was...
I love the phrases that are used, like the logic that's used, like, it's like, maybe that crowd will discourage them.
Right.
Right, they want to stop humans from repopulating.
What fucked me up most about it is that he pretty much fucking skis down the hill, and he's having this... The way that the movie is supposed to show us that James Bond is freaking the fuck out. I don't know if you caught that same vibe.
Yeah,
I'm sure. He was supposed to be portrayed as like confused and like scared, almost scared. Like it was his first time being like, "What the fuck do I do?"
Yeah.
And he sits down, and the first person he sees is this old chick he was fucking. Word.
Right. Knight in shining armor.
Right. Like this is how it's supposed to fucking go. It felt almost unnatural.
And the other thing with, the non-traditional Bond thing, and why I didn't like the movie too, is like, he's like the damsel in distress.
He is.
He doesn't save a damsel in this movie. He doesn't save a dame. He's saved.
Cool. That's cool.
Which is fine.
That's cool. Like, that's cool.
But you're breaking Bond formula is all I'm saying,
If you're going to break the Bond formula, do it right. That's a good point. Like, I kind of like that it's still misogynistic in that sense, though. It really is.
Sure. It
is still, though, because at the end, he still has ultimate control. He's got control over all of this. And it's not like, oh, well, I'm just going to be with this fucking girl who's not going to benefit old Bond. Bond's looking out for Bond.
Yeah.
Okay? Bond's looking out for number one. He's not. He's like, well, you got a car? All right, cool. Well, let's get the fuck out.
Otherwise he was like, All right. Well, you
I'm
can
gonna-
follow me. You'll be my human shield.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
just follow me. There's bullets.
But his Bondism during that scene is, looks like we've hit the rush hour. Not great.
Not great.
Let's drive into that crowd, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
The one car flips over that's chasing him.
explodes.
And in true Bond fashion, catches on fire instantly.
Yeah.
And then they all run out just in time for it to, like... Good stuff.
Classic.
Good stuff.
Classical.
And then later, they're skiing... They're both skiing away. As lovers do.
Starts as a
Do you
love
want to
scene.
talk about the barn love scene?
I mean,
Bond says, like, hey, we're going to save that for our wedding night.
I don't...
And then he immediately goes back on it.
Let me just say that... Let me just say that as far as, like, a love story goes, if we're trying to make these two characters really, really care about each other, they went about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Because all he's trying to do is fuck her.
All the time.
All the time. It's like these people like need to like actually get to know each other if they're gonna fall in love. They can't just be fucking all the time. And that's all they're doing. Is like he's like, well, you sleep up there, I'll sleep down here.
And then he
I'm
takes
using-
his pitchfork
Yeah. Thanks.
and he knocks down where she's sleeping, which I thought would have been hilarious. Like, I feel like if anybody else tries to do it, like if a normal dude like if you or I try to do that, like the pitchfork could go, like the pitchfork could still be sticking out, and then she'd roll down the thing, and then she'd get like a pitchfork in her leg, and she's like, ah! Like what? What's
exactly
wrong?
what the fuck
Why'd you do that?
Well, I'm sorry.
I
I
was-
was trying to have sex with you.
I'm very horny.
I'm very horny.
Do you think we get this leg looked at in the morning and we can go ahead about our business?
Yes, I need to get rid of the seed in me. Yeah, I thought that was a little risky.
It was a risky move.
Very risky.
Very risky move. But they're skiing down the mountain. And it's the morning. They've left the barn. And then the bad guys are back on them. Of course, the
Naturally.
bad guys waited
Which-
till morning.
Very- yeah, I
let them make
I
love.
didn't
Let
think
them
about
have
that,
let them
yeah.
have a sleep.
Yeah, let
You
them
know.
sleep it off. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll get a fresh start in the morning.
You gotta think back in 1969, they didn't understand, like, tactics. You know what I mean? Back then, they were like, I gotta sleep, you gotta sleep. I'll see you in the morning. Now, back then, there was no espionage.
Even though he's a spy, there's no espionage.
Right, yeah, no espionage. He's a spy, no espionage. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you take a nap.
Yeah, so there's like an old plow clearing the roads, and of course one of the goons falls down in there, and all his guts are spraying out with the snow. The snow
Don't
all
you
turns
think,
red
like-
all of a sudden.
Don't you think in this universe, like, once a week, these goons are flying down the hill chasing somebody? Like, that's kind of their job, right?
Right.
Like, there's 007 is not alone. There's 008.
The goons are
006.
out!
Yeah, the goons are up. Yeah, like... And you got to think word travels pretty fast down the hill. You know what I mean? What's your job? Oh, well, I plow snow on the fucking Alps. Oh, cool, man. Like, who do you talk to during the day? Oh, well, there's like,
There's some goons.
there's goons.
Once in a while, one of them gets stuck in my machine. It's all.
And it's like, I just stop it. Like, there's probably an emergency stop button. Back in 1969, the only thing I had to fucking operate this, just a big old steering wheel. Whoa, this thing.
Once-
What is that, a goon? Hit this brake, which is over here. Oh, I can't get to it in time. Like, God, like, press the brake. Press the fucking brake, man.
So the Bondism there is, he had lots of guts. Not bad.
Not bad, not
Not
bad.
bad.
I'll take that. That's good Bondism.
But Blofeld starts an avalanche with a big flare.
Cool. That's cool.
It's very cool.
Very cool.
They would definitely die in real life, I feel like. I don't think you're digging them out.
I
But
mean, like...
she goes,
it's
James! He's like, keep going.
I don't know how avalanches work. I'm sure.
I don't either, but I
I'm
feel
sure
like...
if you're on skis, you got a good chance of getting away from it. But like,
I don't know, man.
they were like,
They were
They were
rolling
in
down
it.
that hill
They
for
were in
a
it.
while.
they were in that.
That had to hurt. They're concussed.
Yeah.
There's probably
I mean,
some broken stuff. I don't
Isn't
know.
that kind of part of what James Bond is like kind of a superhero?
He's
like,
indestructible.
indestructible.
And he
like-
put his indestructible seed in her, so she was fine. So they're defeated, and then, MI6 is like, hey, we're just gonna fall to their demands. Which is, you brought up a fantastic point of like, hey, we know where this secret base is up top.
Sure.
Why don't we bring like a real military in?
Bring like 13 guys.
Have them overtake.
Don't take that many people.
Yeah, have just some SEALs.
He's right there.
Get the U.S. involved, but Britain's like, no, we're gonna
keep this low.
Keep this low. Keep this under the radar. We'll handle this, and then eventually they're just like, well, I guess we gotta negotiate with them. Just like last movie with the whole like,
which I guess that's the whole thing about.
Britain knows everything, and they're just like,
they're just keeping it under wraps. Which I don't think that's very good.
Like, how do you feel about it, America and Russia? We're pretty bad. We're pretty bad. Alright.
Cool. You guys are mad. I like that. I like the passion.
Alright, well, try not to blow anything up.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll talk to you guys later.
We'll talk to you later. You guys have a bunch of nukes and you guys are mad at each other. I'm not in the middle. I'm not being a middleman, but you guys are both pussies.
I don't know what's going on. I'll see you later. But no, this like mob guy, the father of
Terry.
No.
Was her name Terry? Teresa?
Tracy.
Sorry, Tracy.
It is Teresa, and she says, Teresa was a saint. I'm Tracy.
Yes.
That's her line to him. Apparently, he's just got war supplies. He's got access to 3 helicopters and assault rifles and grenades. He's like, let's go. Her father, the mob guy.
Yeah, the mob guy. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's just got helicopters and grenades and assault rifles at his disposal. Yeah. As well as owning a construction company, so that's fun.
You know how the mob is.
And and apparently he's just got well-trained soldiers ready to, overtake terrorist hideouts. That's who he is. I don't know about all that. Because it's not official MI6 business.
No, because he's on leave.
He's because M tells him, like, no, like, fuck your girlfriend.
That's why I was confused about the guy who helped him with the fucking copier.
Right.
Who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah,
I'm on leave.
He's some rogue, and they don't go into it. There's not like a conversation he has with that guy where he's like...
No, we didn't talk about where he tries to scale up the mountain. This random... The guy who fucking brings him the copier tries to scale up the mountain.
And then I'm sorry.
He tries to get on the gondola to get up to the mountain. He's like, what, I can't get up there? And they're like, no, you can't get up there.
It's closed.
It's closed, stupid.
And he's like, okay.
He's like, whoa, okay. Then he tries to scale the mountain. And gets fucking killed.
First they capture him and he gets yelled at, and then they kill him so they can show James later.
Hey, they say, the tourists love to wax sculptures around here. Oh, yeah. I'm like, fuck you.
It's just so funny because it's like, all right, so if he's an MI6 guy, then like, why was M like not mad? Like, no one gave a fuck about that.
No one. At the end of the movie, they were like, "It's good for you to be married, James." And
like they didn't go like,
"What happened to
James?
him?
Hey James, yeah." Well, I don't know.
Hey,
you want to give him like a name? Does he have a name in the cast?
We'll call him Tucker. We'll call him Tucker.
It's Money Penny Hillary Bray, British Service, Head of Secret Service, 007's colleague, Sean Campbell.
Bro, why does that look so much like Bruce Willis? I told you it looked like Bruce Willis. Look at that.
The guy's real name is Bernard Horsfall.
Bro, that looks exactly like Bruce Willis.
His name in the movie is Sean Campbell. It's never said. So apparently it's just like his script name.
Sean Campbell. Okay, so Sean Campbell.
So yeah, like M's not at any point like, hey, by the way, 007, have you seen Sean?
Sean. I don't necessarily know a Sean.
Yeah. Well, I think he's just missing. Huh. Interesting. Like, they're not mad about it.
No.
That, like, he was helping him out while he's on leave or anything. He's just like, yeah, you seen Sean?
Missing. You say this word, I don't understand.
Although, well, shit. Okay, no, I'm speaking out of school here because he is officially going up to the thing. Because he gets the copies, then he says, I'm going up here, and M's like, yeah, cool. Word.
Yeah,
so,
I
forgot about that.
Right. He does officially tell M that he's going to be killing Sean.
But it is funny of, like there were no repercussions for Sean, like, with the copier and all that. They're just like, hey, Sean, like, James is on leave. Like, what do we...
Well, now that I'm thinking about it, I think that was all on Sean because he was.
It's probably all on Sean.
Like,
but like he didn't talk to him or anything.
No, nothing. There
was no conversation.
There was no communication with Sean. It was just like, who's that blonde guy down there? And you had to tell me, oh, he's an MI6. He's cool.
Like, I feel like you could have cut the scene where James and Tracy are riding on horseback, holding, like, locking arms while on horseback, which is, like, probably incredibly hard to do, by the way.
Well, maybe in the book, maybe in the book,
like,
Sean Campbell has a bigger role.
Maybe.
But,
like, the whole thing of, like, and, like, maybe we can skip them walking through the city and through the fountain with the gardens and the fountains, and we can just have a quick scene where James is like, hey, Sean, I'm going to go up there, you get the concrete mixer, you know, bring it over to me, and then I'll toss the copier in there as if it's not a $1,000 piece of technology, and you'll bring it back down.
Him and Felix had more of a intimate relationship than
no Felix here, by the way.
No Felix, by the way.
Yeah. They rescue Tracy.
Yes.
Get in a helicopter, and Tracy's like, we have to go back for James. She's freaking out. And he's like, you gotta calm down. And then he just knocks his daughter out. He knocks his own daughter out. He's like, bitch, get in the helicopter. Bam! He just knocks her out. Puts her to sleep, puts her in the helicopter.
Second time she's been knocked out in this movie.
Like, her father was just totally cool with the fact that James, like, slapped her around earlier, just keeps fucking her all the time. She needs to be dominated. And then we have, oh, by the way, Tracy takes out one of the goons by herself. And apparently there's, like, these decorative spikes on the wall.
Oh, this is getting to where I was talking about earlier.
Yeah. She, like, pulls him through the aluminum. And you're going like, what's going on? And then he falls down the steps, and that didn't kill him. And she's running down the steps trying to get to the elevator. And then, she, dude's back on her. And she shoves him into these wall spikes. And I'm like, that's a hazard. Like, who just has wall spikes?
Yeah, I don't think wall spikes were in 1969. I think that was more of an ancient medieval type of, wall decoration.
What's up with hey, I'm going to get... Like, you imagine if I was like, so man... I'm thinking about what to put on this wall over here.
I would put spikes on it.
Spikes, like dangerously sharp spikes, like if someone like was shoved into them, like or maybe if they, maybe if they weren't looking where they were going in the dark, and they walked into it, like maybe they'd lose an eye.
Yeah, spikes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Good call.
Yeah. Spikes on the wall.
Yeah.
Right there.
It'll look really good.
Spikes
so you have
on the wall.
Like you have to like dodge them while you're walking out of the room. Yeah, I like it.
Right there.
Right there. Yeah.
I'd like spikes right there.
Look here, like I really like when you like get into a character because like you like really get in. Like you were dumb guy that wants spikes on wall. Like you had committed. Like you were ready for a 20-minute bit of dumb guy with spikes on the wall. It was incredible. I saw it in your eyes. You were like, "How long are we going?" Because I got dumb guy that wants spikes on the wall locked in. So it was incredible.
It was easy. I could have done that for years.
Yeah.
I could have been that guy.
In fact, I might do it when I leave
might
here.
be that guy when I grow up. I don't know.
So so Blofeld gets away, and they're luging. What a loser, luging down the hill. I really wanted Bond to say what a loser, and then jump in the luge.
You're like, what a loser.
I just thought it was a missed opportunity on the Bondism, or like maybe he like passes him in there and like shoots him and keeps going. Man. And he's just like, what a loser when he comes in first place. Like, I just wanted to see it. Anyway.
But instead, what is his Bondism when he kicks him off? What does he say?
So there's this whole big epic fight. They're shooting at each other. They can't aim because, it's a movie.
Of course.
And eventually it gets to the point of, like, he's gotten onto Blofeld's thing. There's this big struggle. They're punching. Blofeld's, like, winning.
Right.
And then they're approaching an overhanging branch. And, like, Bond, like, somehow, like, pushes him up into the branch. And Blofeld, of course, it's, like, perfect. There's, like, two branches branching out. So, like, it's, like, neck-sized, And so he pushes Blofeld into it. And then Blofeld's just hanging there by his neck. Bond goes, he's brunched off. Come on.
Come on now.
You telling me
Of all the Bondisms, that's the fucking best thing you could come up with.
Not a loser.
Right, not a loser. Come
Yeah.
on, bro. He's looking like a loser right now. Not no branched off.
But the sled, like he bails, the sled like flies off, and I was like, the only thing missing. If it was a comedy, I wanted the sled to explode so bad. Even though there's no reason, there's no gas, but it's just the sled should have just like hit the snow and just been like.
Yeah, it should have, for real. Yes,
It would have fit so well.
I really want to think that in Austin Powers they have an object without gasoline exploding.
It has to be, right?
There has to be.
I haven't watched this in so long.
I've not. I'm excited to watch them.
And then we have the wedding,
which I thought that was the ending of the movie, which it pretty much is. But
you're just about home.
Which I thought
you're on your street when you get to the wedding.
If the movie should have ended where I thought it should end was at the wedding, but then they have the fucking scene where they're driving along and
wait, there's one line.
Go ahead.
At the wedding, Q's going like, Bond, we've never seen. Never mind. Here's what I want to say. If you need anything, just call. And then Bond goes, well, this time I've got the gadgets and I know how to use them. And he's talking about. I mean, he's looking at her as he says it. So he's like...
Is she the gadget?
No, he's like, I've got a penis and I know how to use it. was how I took that line. He's like, I've got the gadgets and I know how to use them. That's how I took that whole thing.
So what, his career was supposed to be over at that point?
Right, he was saying, that's what he said to Tracy when they were in the barn. Like, an agent has to only think of himself. And she's like, oh, we'll just have to go on the way we are. And he goes, no, I'll have to find something else to do.
I didn't catch that. Honestly, I thought that he was just going to get married and continue being James.
No, he was done. That's why, everybody was all like, Bond, good luck, blah, blah, blah.
See, that's kind of the problem.
And that was my problem with the ending. That's my problem with this movie, is that everything, they're throwing all the traditional Bondish shit out. I don't know. As well as I didn't think it was great. I didn't think Lazenby was good and all that shit, but yeah, I took that as I've got a penis and I know how to use it. That's what I took that as.
But then, what happens to Terry?
Tracy.
Yeah, Terry.
Yeah, they're on the road. They're on the road. They pull over. They're like, "How about a wedding gift?" Blah blah blah. He's taking flowers off the car, and then Blofeld's got a neck brace on in the front of the car. Who's driving by?
Got to keep that continuity, right?
And Fraulein's in the back seat. She just shoots up the car. And Tracy, she's dead. And if there was any part of Lazenby having good acting in this movie, it's when he gets in the car and he's saying back just like everything that the two of them were talking about in the car.
Yeah, he's kind of having that
going down the road. He's going, no, it's okay, really, because a police officer pulls up on the bike.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Because he can't handle these things by himself, so the police are involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, Secret Service can't handle this. He's
like, it's okay, really. We're just gonna go. We have all the time in the world. And he's like, just emotional. And then he kisses her again. And it's like, and that's how the movie ends. It pans over to the bullet hole that came through the windshield and killed her. And that's how the movie ends. And then the Bond music finally kicks in. Because I'm like, all right, we're gonna end a Bond movie on just. No, it was just very this sad, ominous music that was happening, and then it got to.
I don't necessarily mind the ending. I don't.
No, it's fine.
Mind the ending.
It was the only good acting I thought he did in the whole movie, but yeah.
Like I said earlier, if you had given me a reason to care about her dying,
sure,
I probably would have been more like, damn, that's Jane's girl.
Right. I mean, it did have the whole scene where they're like, they rushed the whole falling in love thing. Whereas if she would have been involved the whole time, and maybe the wedding's a couple years down the road or something, and you go like, oh. But you really don't get that attached to her.
No, because she's in the last part of the movie. She helps him escape. And then the mob boss is like, you have to marry my daughter.
Yeah, Dominator.
And then they get married, and that's it. So there's no emotion in it.
You're not you're just like, oh, well, damn, James, sorry. And then
Sucks to suck, bro.
yeah. Whereas my wife at the end of the movie's doing one of these on me, just the wife, and like,
Right.
that's like super, reaching on her glasses. That's like super sad. I'm like, okay. All right, man.
I mean, fuck, man. Like,
what do you think the budget was, by the way?
budget.
Yeah.
What was the budget of the last movie?
You Only Live Twice had a $9.5 million budget, $111 million.
This one was 11.5.
7.
Why? How the fuck? How?
Apparently skiing's cheap.
Yeah.
What do you think the box office was? Okay. I got everything previous movies, right?
What was the box office?
Dr.
of the last
No.
two?
Oh, I was just going to...
Just the last two. Go
Okay.
ahead. No, read them all. Read them off.
Dr. No, the profit was 58.4. I'll just read the profit numbers instead of going through budget box office. Profit of Russia with Love, $77 million. Goldfinger profited $122. Thunderball profited $132.2. You Only Live Twice profited $102.1. What do you think this one box office? The box office, Thunderball is $141. You Only Live Twice, $111.
Man, I don't think they made $100 million. I'm going to go 95.
82.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think they were.
So they only made $75 million.
Yeah, I don't think they made that much money.
So in a way,
Let me.
even though Lazenby quit,
Yeah.
what you said last time, like, hot take, I think it's bad, and then that's why Connery comes back. Kind of, I mean, we obviously researched everything, but you're right. I mean, Lazenby comes in, they don't make as much money. It's not like it was a failure. I mean, they still made money. They're still printing money, especially in these days, profiting $75 million.
Yeah, in the 60s and the 70s was a different time for movies, I think.
And, in a nuanced kind of way, you were right.
Right-ish.
Yeah.
Right-ish. Because I'm sure they could have made a Lazenby... when we watched Dr. No, we watched the first James Bond movie. Sean Connery, that was his first James Bond film. And I remember when we first watched that, we said, like, oh, he's just settling into this.
Mm-hmm.
Once he had done that for 4 or 5 years, this is what he knew.
It's natural.
It's natural, right?
Don't even have to try.
With
He didn't try. Someone argue he didn't try ever.
Lazenby didn't do a terrible job. He didn't do a
No.
terrible job.
It's just I feel he's probably trying to live up to Bond too much.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that. Living up to that, I mean, that's a big fucking pill to, or...
Shoes to fill.
Yeah, the big shoes to fill, not a big pill to swallow.
That's a big pill
That's a big pill to fill. It's a big pill to fill. It's a big pill to fill, man.
Yeah, yeah.
At the end of the day, obviously, George Lazenby...
At the end of the day, you tie your shoes, you get your glass of water, you swallow those pills.
Exactly, and it's all milk under the fridge, man. So, at the end of the day, like, if George had stuck with it, I'm sure, like, by the second or third movie he was in, he would have fucking settled in and been like, I'm fucking James Bond now. But halfway through filming this movie, he was like, fuck this. So I guarantee that...
Yeah, that is funny that halfway he was just like, this ain't gonna work for me.
Right. Like, that's... I don't want to say it represents itself in the movie because I couldn't tell you what scenes were filmed at what time. But, like...
Right.
At the end of the day, I'm more used to Sean. George Lazenby was new, and I'm sure when we get to the other James Bonds, albeit besides fucking what's the new guy? Goddamn, why can't I'm doing a goddamn James Bond.
So you're saying after Connery's done? The guy after Connery?
No, I'm saying what's the 2022? What's
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig, sorry. I'm saying everyone besides Daniel Craig.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying everyone besides Daniel Craig. Once we start going into these new Bond characters or new Bond actors, there'll probably be a bit of a not learning curve, but a adjustment period. We've gone from Connery to Lazenby, and Lazenby was, like I said, if we had more than one movie with him, I probably would have gotten used to him. But once it goes from Lazenby back to Connery to who does it go to after
Roger Moore.
Roger Moore. I'll probably get used to Roger Moore. I'll say, I'll stop talking like Connery.
I think Roger
like
Moore is probably, though Connery's the original, I feel Roger Moore just had a lot of the classics. I feel he's really good.
I've never seen any of them, so you know me. I'm right.
And of course, the films kind of step their game up by the time we hit 70s with Roger Moore. So I think you really like Roger Moore.
Well, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. But as far as George
more
Lazenby
Connery.
went, as far as George Lazenby went, man, I don't think he did a terrible job. If you had enough time to settle into the role,
probably would have been all right.
Probably would have been all right.
But a lot of things killed it for me, and it was a 4 out of 10 for me. What is it for you?
What did I rate the last one? These were 6s and 7s, right?
Yeah, 6.2. You rated the last one.
Man, this movie, I'm gonna give it a. This is a 5.5, man. This is a 5.5 out of 10 because it just seems like they were trying to do more than they could. They were trying to do more than they should. Maybe not could, but should. They were trying to do more than they should. They were trying to throw the James Bond mold on its head. Let's throw you a new character. Let's throw you some new fucking James Bond tropes.
Yeah.
Even if it was to a T what the book was, what we knew as James Bond from a viewing audience was not what we were shown. So,
Indeed.
I'm gonna leave it there, man.
It's good.
It was good. It was all right. I'm never gonna watch it again.
I was saying you were good.
Oh no,
That
you're
was
good.
good.
No, you're
Yeah.
good. You're good.
I wasn't talking about the movie.
No, I was
didn't
saying the
like
movie was good.
It wasn't good.
I was saying you good. Me good.
Yeah, you good.
Good.
All right, man. Thanks for listening, guys.
Hey,
Content
real
Crisis
quick,
Hotline,
Let me hold on.
Yeah. What's up?
If you have a Twitter, it's very simple.
I mean, just realize none of these have come out yet. So, like,
What do you mean?
none of the bonds have come out yet. So,
Well, I'm saying, like, what is your Twitter handle going to change?
no. I'm just saying, like, because I feel like every time we do a bond, we're like, hey, man, fucking email us. But, like,
Well, I mean, like, that's
like
pretty
none of these have, like, come out yet.
But
so,
they're kind of important to, like, it's kind of important.
No, it is important.
And, like,
Listen, if you have input, yes, absolutely. If you
yeah,
have
I mean,
input,
even just
Twitter, email us if you don't want the public to see it.
Because here's the
Throw
thing:
us
if you
a follow,
throw us
yeah.
a follow, it's very simple. You're gonna be like hanging out, fucking sitting at home, looking at your Twitter, and all of a sudden I'm gonna tweet some crazy shit, and you're gonna be like, what is this guy saying? You're gonna go to, fucking keyboard warrior that shit and be like, wait a minute, it's just content crisis.
Right.
They're just talking shit to talk shit. They're just, stirring the pot. That's what we do
Stirring
here
the
at
pot.
Content Crisis. We stir the pot. We talk about the issues that
We
matter.
make the soup.
We make the soup. Exactly. And guess what? We also eat it. So, at Content Crisis, it's Content Crisis 1, right?
At Content Crisis 1.
At Content Crisis 1 on Twitter. Just shoot us a follow. I'll tweet at you. I'll mention you. You'll get famous. I'll get famous. It's a whole thing. It's a symbiotic relationship, okay? Also, if you have an email, it's contentcrisis1.
Yeah, if you got opinions, if you got fact corrections, if you got suggestions on what we should watch next, that kind of thing, Content Crisis Hotline at yahoo.com.
Content
Shoot us an email.
Hotline at yahoo.com.
Indeed.
Shoot us an email.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks
guys.
for listening. Goodbye.
Yeah, have a good day.